Hey everybody, it's Ian from ukeartswork.info with a video on the route into the UK. That was the permitted paid engagement route. It is actually sort of still there. What am I talking about? Okay, so to come into the UK, not just for creatives, but for creative and support staff and other professions, until recently there was something called a permitted paid engagement visa. Now, the visa itself, if you are a visa national, that means a person that needs a visa to enter the UK, and you were going to come in for up to 30 days to work in my situation or talking to you about creative arts, in creative arts and support work, you could have applied for that visa. Or if you're a non-visa national, you could have come in to the UK using the permitted paid engagement concession route, which means you can't apply for the visa, but you arrive at the airport or the ferry port or wherever, and you identify yourself to a border official called Border Force UK, and you say, I would like to come in under the permitted paid engagement route. I'm a musician, or I am an sound engineer, blah, blah, blah. And the immigration officer could say to you, okay, prove who you are, prove that this is your main job, prove that you are an expert in your chosen profession and that is why you've been invited, show me your invitation letters, show me your contracts, show me you have enough money to survive, blah, blah, blah. If they said yes, away you go. They might even let you come in, depending on what your invitation letter said, or who you are. If you're a very famous person, obviously, it's not an issue. Okay, so as of quite a few weeks ago, that visa no longer exists. But the route does. What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, here we go. So the permitted paid engagement route into the UK is now part of something called the standard visitor visa. So it's been rolled into that visa. And it states quite clearly, you'll see links below, by the way, to the official government websites about this. It says quite clearly, for the first 30 days of your visit, you can engage in some paid activities. But here's the rub. This is if you're a visa national, you apply for all this and you get a visa, etc. So it's not such an issue. You still have to identify yourself upon entry to the UK and get your passport stamp for your visa, etc. on your visa. However, if you're a non-visa national, you can come in using that same permitted paid engagement concession, i.e. 30 days, but you must identify yourself to an immigration official, just like before. The reason I'm making this video is that there is conflicting advice from the official UK government websites, and sometimes people are being told that you can go through the automatic passport gates using this method. Well, the rules clearly, categorically state that you have to identify yourself to a UKVI border official, known as Border Force, to say, I'm coming in under the permitted paid engagement concession, please let me in, blah, blah. Home Office, or at least it's reported the Home Office, UK Home Office, is telling people they can use the passport gates. Passport gates don't listen to you. Passport gates cannot take that declaration from you. It's impossible. There's something else I'm going to say in a moment as well about Ireland and permitted paid engagement. But, so, I have spoken to absolute experts in this field, and recently, it is now early April 2024, and I've spoken to them over the last couple of weeks, and there are links again below to this advice. The problem being, if you try to use an e-passport gate on the advice of, official advice that has been given to some people, and they flag you and then say, no, come over here, let's check you. It's sometimes done randomly, and sometimes your passport's not quite working or whatever. And you then go and say to them, they ask you why you're coming into the UK, and you say, well, I'm coming in to take advantage of the PPE concession. It says it in the rules and everything. And they say, well, why didn't you come and report to me? It's an obligation for you to do so. And they say, well, the Home Office, or I got this advice from blah, blah, blah. I say, we don't care. They could say that. We don't care. Under the rules, you are supposed to identify yourself to me. Therefore, because you have tried to enter the UK using the e-passport gates, the automatic passport gates, you have tried to avoid reporting to me. Therefore, that gives me grounds to refuse your entry to the UK. Turn around, go back home. That's the reality. Whether or not it would ever happen, we will see. So it's a bit of a mess. As usual, I wish I wasn't saying this. It's no one at the moment. We have any reports of anyone being stopped and turned around because of this. But we're fighting this conflict of information. Not just me, many other people in my side of the industry. As you probably know, I'm a music agent, consultant. I'm a UKVI licensed sponsor. So I'm not giving you guys immigration advice. I never do in any of my videos. It's not immigration advice. It's just talking about some of the craziness that we're having to deal with and the way visas and things change over time. Right, I said I'd mention Ireland. Now, the reason I'm mentioning Ireland is a question popped up very recently in the last day or so from a very good friend who said, what about if an American musician wants to use the PPE concession, i.e. report to an immigration officer, but they're going to be in Ireland first, coming from America, and then they're coming over on the ferry into the UK. The problem being Ireland, the whole of Ireland, is part of something called the CTA, the Common Travel Area, which includes the whole of the UK. And there are no border checks between the UK and the island of Ireland, which means you cannot use this concession on that route. It's impossible because you're supposed to report to a border agent on arrival and say, hey, I'm here for PPE. You can use the certificate of sponsorship route through your sponsor, and the sponsor has pre-authorised it with UKVI if you're coming through Ireland, but that's a separate issue, and you'll find it in one of the other videos on the channel on certificates of sponsorship, etc. And I do that professionally anyway as a UKVI licensed category A sponsor. So the deal is with PPE, please be very careful about the advice you're being given. If you're using that as a non-visa national, when you arrive at a UK border force point, whether that's in France, if it's coming on the tunnel or the ferry, or whether you're at an airport in the UK, etc., go to a border force agent, say to them, you are coming in under PPE, here are all my invitation letters, I'm prepared to prove who I say I am, I'm prepared to prove I'm an expert in my chosen profession, etc. Do not think it doesn't apply to you, because it does. If you get stopped, there's the potential for the border force official to say, I'm not letting you in because you didn't identify yourself. Sorry, it's a long video. I'm just noticing the timer on it. It's probably hitting 9 minutes nearly, and I managed to do it without a cut or an edit. It's a one shot. Anyway, stay well, stay happy. Comments below as usual. Do subscribe. Do hit that bell, because I do these videos quite regularly. Not on this, on other things as well. So that is the new route as standard visitor visa using the PPE concession. Stay well, stay happy, stay safe, and here's to a better world soon. Bye for now.